Hello, and welcome to another episode of My Backstage Pass. This is your host, Lee Zimmerman, and I'm here with my producer, co-host, and good buddy, Billy Hubbard. And today, we're really excited to have the renowned Jim Parker as our guest. Jim, welcome to My Backstage Pass.
Thank you for allowing me backstage, Lee. I appreciate it.
That's okay. You had to get by security, but I trust that went well.
It went well.
Wait a minute. No, he's the one backstage. We had to get by security.
Oh, okay. All right. Been there.
I told him I knew Billy Hubbard.
Oh, well.
That's worthwhile.
Glad that's not my real name.
Oh, dear. I'm alias already. So, Jim, you are a renowned artist and songwriter with an incredible track record to your credit, right? Don't be humble. We want to know. This is showbiz here.
Well, I appreciate it. You know, my sister told me there was a difference between ego and confidence.
Yes.
And I have to walk that line carefully because, you know, I don't want to get castigated. I said castigated. Okay.
That was close.
Yeah, that's careful. My personal philosophy is that ego is actually a good thing because it does give you confidence, and we need confidence in order to succeed. So if those have been your qualities, Jim, you're doing pretty well anyway, right?
Yeah, and in spite of my ego, I'm doing fine. Yeah,
ego's okay. There's a difference between ego and narcissism, so let's get that.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah, but you know, it is all about me, Lee.
Well, Jim, enough about me. What do you think about me?
I love you, Lee. I don't. You know, you're just a great guy. And Billy said some really nice things about you. If you don't mind, I'd like to ask you some questions.
Oh, my God. Well, you know, hilarious. Well, you know, normally I'd say that's okay, but
okay.
Hey, yeah.
Well, would you please define renown? That's what I'm going to call it. What is renown?
Accomplished and recognized for being accomplished. I mean, you have this Songwriter series in Huntsville, Alabama. Mm-hmm. You're an ASCAP award winner. You've had 5 albums and 10 singles, and you co-wrote that song Chicken Truck. So to say that Chicken Truck, be careful with that. That was recorded by John Anderson, and even more recently, you've worked with John Anderson, and Billy Droz. I mean, you've got a pretty impressive resume here, Jim Parker. Pretty impressive.
Well, Lee.
Yes.
I have been falling forward my entire career, and I haven't skinned my nose but a couple of times, but I got back up and kept going, and that's the reason that I've had the success that I've had at this wonderful old age. Okay. Yeah. I was born at a very early age, and
I knew that was coming. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'll die at a very old age.
Yeah. Because, okay. Well, we all hope.
I'm just not ready to give it up yet. So
perfect.
I'm working hard, man. Still working hard. Still loving it.
It's like everybody, what's that saying? Everybody wants to die young when they're old, right? You want to be.
Yeah. I'm too young to die. I'm too young to die old, too old to die young. Isn't that it? That was the song.
Yeah, Steve Goodman, I think. I don't know, some genius.
Yes, there you go.
Yes.
So, sorry.
You want to do a linear thing here?
Yes, let's do it. Let's go linear.
Yeah.
Let's go linear.
I do these things from time to time, and I go down the rabbit holes, and I have to pull myself back up and go, oh, well, I was talking about this then. Raised in Amarillo, Texas, if you want to go that far back.
Okay.
And Jimmy Gilmer of the Fireballs gave me my first guitar.
Yeah, we were just talking about that.
We were just talking about that. We were looking at the bio, and it says here, Jimmy Gilmore of Sugar Shack fame, but I said he was in that group, not Firefall, the Fireballs. Okay.
Yeah, Fireballs.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so, you've read about that, so I'll skip that.
No, not what the audience hasn't read about it, Jim. I mean,
well, they can.
All right, they can, right? But
okay, yeah. So my sister was trying to learn Peter Gunn and could not do it, and I asked him if I could try, and picked it up, and went da 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 da. So it was a natural for me, and he gave me a guitar.
Wow!
And I bought some black diamond strings and strung it, and the bridge was so tall on the guitar that my fingers bled after a few days of playing.
Wow!
So I was committed. That was my sanctuary. That was my cool. Therapy from that point forward.
Now is that the sister? You're like 15 years older than her, right?
No, 18 months.
That was my joke. I'm sorry.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, yeah. I was just trying to.
I was just trying to imagine, like a sister and you being older. Okay, right. Sorry.
Yeah,
that's too deep. I know. Okay, go. I'm sorry.
No, I got it. I had to live with it for years. Okay.
All right.
All right. So anyway, I got started in a band, and we were called the Illusions. And we got to where we were really good and played all the clubs and the tarantellas and the cotillions, and we were playing movie themes. We had a B3 and a harmonica, and Mark Creamer was the guitar player and the keyboard player and harmonica player. He was really great. Cool. Had a great voice too. And so we decided to leave Amarillo, Texas in 1966 and took J.D. Souther with us to L.A.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah. He was in a competing band.
That's pretty cool.
He wanted to go to L.A. with us. So we took him along. He played tambourine and sometimes drums and sax and sang with us. And, he wasn't playing guitar at that time. I taught him some of his first chords in New London, Connecticut.
Wow.
Yeah. So anyway, see, that was a rabbit hole. Sorry.
No, that's very impressive.
Yeah. So we went to L.A. I was married to a feedlot rancher's daughter who was mentally ill. And I didn't know that, and her parents didn't have the decency to tell me. But we got there, and she was trying to kill herself on a regular basis. And one time tried to kill me along with her on Long Beach Boulevard. So, yeah. So she got me out of the point is, not that she tried to kill herself, but she eventually did much later after we divorced. But she kept me out of Vietnam. I got out on a hardship discharge.
All right.
So she saved my life and took her own. I can't write that one, boys. I don't know how to do that. Okay?
No.
That's a good story.
Also, I was working at Texaco Incorporated as a pipe fitter's helper. All right. I was climbing 50, 60-foot vessels and holding tools. And then eventually I had an opportunity to become an operator on in the field and shuffled millions of barrels of oil to the refinery. I was a couple of miles away, but that gave me an opportunity at night to write. I wanted the graveyard shift so I could write. So I did that. And, we went out there to sign with Lee Hazelwood, who wrote these Boots Are Made for Walking and, discovered Duane Eddy and Nancy Sinatra's Boots Are Made for Walking.
Exactly. Very famous.
And Billy Strange was the arranger and producer, and we became fast friends there in LA. And we do, studio stuff, and there was the wrecking crew out there waiting on us to support us. So there's Glenn Campbell, had a chili with Glenn Campbell between breaks, and Hal Blaine, Carol Kay. People don't know this. Musicians know this, but people don't.
These are the people that also backed up Carole King and James Taylor and Jackson Brown. I mean, they were on some
and the Beach Boys.
Yeah, exactly. The Monkees, probably. Yeah, I mean.
Oh yeah, all of those.
Yeah,
all of those. There's a documentary on that.
Yes.
So, and I was working at later, I was working at my mom's. She was administrator of a rest home, so I would go play in, I don't know, all on the beaches down in Santa Ana. And I'd come back 2:00 in the morning, go to bed, wake up at 4 and go brush teeth and clean toilets, and then on to my other jobs, So my point here is, friends, don't quit your day job. Starvation is not very inspiring. Okay.
That's right.
Okay.
A round of applause for that one.
So I survived Vietnam. I don't feel guilty. I put in my time. I got an honorable discharge.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm alive.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Good point.
And then, I had 4 albums there. We had Everything But the Kitchen Sink album, which is, I have a double vinyl here in my files of our anthology of that group, the Kitchen Sink, CINQ.
Yes.
You can Google us.
Yes, the Kitchen Sink. This wasn't with this was after the Illusions then.
After the Illusions. Right. Yeah. We changed our name. Well, we were the Y'alls before we were the Illusions.
The Y'alls.
Y'alls. Yeah. We were out of Texas. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely.
And then after the Kitchen Sink, we became Armageddon with part of the band. Myself, Johnny Stark, and Mark Kramer, and bass player, Skip Batten, who was with the Byrds at one point.
Wow, you're dropping some impressive names here, Jim Parker. I'm going to be dropping yours pretty soon.
Well, Elvis told me not to drop names.
No. All right. Okay.
But speaking of Elvis, I did meet his girlfriend, Anne Margaret. Okay.
Oh, really?
That's right. What I was wanting to mention that, because that's one of the things that impressed me.
Yeah.
I was just, I shouldn't say, I was just getting to a certain age where I started noticing people like Anne Margaret.
Yeah.
When she was.
Yeah.
Did you ever meet Elvis?
No. No, I went up to 9000 Sunset Boulevard.
Yeah.
That's a name. That's name dropping in itself. It's a
very
beautiful
famous
office building down on the boulevard.
Yep.
And I knocked on Lee's door. I want to talk to him about something. He said, "Oh, come on in, Jim." I went in there, and he said, "This is Anne Margaret. This is Jim Parker."
Wow.
And I went, "Yes, it is."
I bet.
Son, I mean, it was seriously a heart stopper. I mean, it was micro mini skirt days, guys.
Wow.
You remember those days?
Wow.
Oh.
So she had the makeup, her hair was done, she was not.
Was she famous by that point?
Oh yeah.
I thought she was. Yeah. She got famous.
She was Elvis's girlfriend.
Yeah.
That was before. That was after that.
And so, she was sitting there, and for all you men and you young men, I was 23, 24, that mini skirt was hiked up to her. Yeah. And so.
Was she sitting down facing you?
Yes.
All right. That's what was the movie where there was that famous scene in the movie where
but she did that.
Fatal Attraction or something like
Fatal
that.
Something
no,
like that.
No, wasn't it? It was something else.
Yeah. But anyway, we get we see the picture.
Oh.
We see the picture.
You do it. Well, if you saw what I saw, you would never forget it. Okay. Yeah, and my wife knows that I'm enamored with that.
Still
with that scene, yeah.
Wow, that's crazy.
So anyway,
can I back up? I'm sorry, I'm out of.
Yeah,
I didn't understand what was the guy's name that invited you there?
Lee Hazelwood, right?
Oh, is that who it was?
Was it
Lee Hazelwood?
I remember it because we share the same first name, so
yeah,
kind of helps me.
Yeah,
okay, so
Lee Hazelwood.
Okay,
yeah,
you can Google him. He discovered Dwayne Eddy, and actually, he was very.
You must have been somebody, having Anne Margaret there.
And he produced Anne Margaret also. He produced her, and that's what she was doing in the office.
Can I just make one comment about your encounter with Anne Margaret and her positioning on the chair and her or mini micro. Let me just say this from personal experience. A guy never forgets his first open house.
That's true.
Sorry.
Well, it wasn't my first one, but it was my
All
first
right. Well, you know
one.
what I mean. Symbolically. All right. Sorry.
I mean, but it was Anne Margaret, and that was before she fell off the ladder in Las Vegas,
Oh, man.
Oh, boy.
But they did a beautiful job of reconstruction. I saw her after that. So, you know, very, very fortunate, you guys, for to have lived this long and been in all those places. But I was just an ignorant boy from Texas. I wasn't sure where I was. I know I was a stranger in a strange land because, you know, I've got heart-stopping things going all the time. You know, go sit and have chili with Glenn Campbell before he's famous.
Yeah,
you know,
cool.
And Hal Blaine on drums.
Oh yeah. Hal, I think, still plays around. Hal Blaine and Lee Sklar back up Lyle Lovett. Do I have that right or no?
I don't know.
All right, but some of those guys go out with Lyle Lovett. I just saw him.
Yeah,
I know.
Kara Kay's still alive.
Lee Sklar.
Oh, Leland, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I was hoping that some of my old friends would become like, you know, the next big star. But now it looks like I'm going to just live my whole life and you know, none of them are going to make it. So,
wow.
You know what I mean?
Well,
except for Lee. No.
Billy, really.
No, I'm talking about Elvis, being Elvis and being Anne Margaret. Or
I'll never be
or
an Anne Margaret. I don't go that way. No, I'll never be an Anne Margaret. Yeah.
I'm going to do some more shameless name dropping, guys.
Let's hear it. Lay them on us.
Well, you know, J.D. Souther and I did a duet on LHI Records, and we were called A Handful.
Really?
It was it was an evolution between the kitchen sink failing to trying to, you know, survive and do something else. It didn't work, by the way. But, you know, at all that time, you know, we were running around with Glenn Fry because Glenn and JD were starting to do a duet called Long Branch Penny Whistle.
Yes, I have that album, Jim Parker. I have that album.
Did you say Glenn Fry?
So
it's early Americana, California Americana.
Yeah, so JD was the fifth eagle, so to speak.
Yes.
Yeah. So and you know, I saw JD. He lives in Albuquerque now.
Does he? I thought he lived in Nashville. No,
he sold his farm.
All right, yeah, he had a farm. I've met him and interviewed him. Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
I'm dropping a little bit of a name.
He's not as much fun as I am, Lee. I'll tell you that. Okay?
Nobody's as much fun as you are, Jim Parker. I can tell that from the outset here. Yeah.
I know him very well.
Were you on that album, that Long Branch Penny Whistle album?
No.
All right.
No, but we had a similar producer. Tom Thacker produced it.
All right. Yeah.
And Tom was also our manager along with Red Stigall.
All right. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Google Red Stigall.
He's legendary in the country music.
Can I just back up and say, I'm sorry.
That's right.
Sorry, man. I may have ADD or got distracted because I'm doing all this technical stuff.
He's on a flow, Billy.
Okay, I'm sorry. I just want to go back. I couldn't understand. Did you say J.D. Sommer?
J.D. Souther.
Okay.
Souther, Hillman, Fure, J.D. Souther.
I thought you meant that. First, I kept thinking that you meant the guy that was with Elvis. Okay.
No, J.D. Souther. And that was Linda Ronstadt's boyfriend for a while, too, I believe.
Carry on.
There you go. Huge.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Huge.
I just want to make sure.
Yeah, down in some valley. Yeah, well, you know, again, I am totally blessed, gentlemen, to have been there. And that's not even the beginning of my story.
Well, we want to hear more. We have all the time in the world. I mean, but what a track record you have here. I mean, when did you start writing songs? And now what inspires you to write songs? I mean, you're so prolific. Tell us about that.
Well, I was a typical teenage boy who had their heart broken time after time. And I was a wrench. I built hot rods, you know.
Cool.
And I had greasy hands. I made them go fast. I could polish, relieve, bore, you know, put in 4 speeds, change rear end ratios, go to the drag strip.
Cool.
All right.
Wow.
And then I got my heart broken and I started writing poetry.
All right. Makes sense. I hear that.
And I wrote this poem called The Axe, and I hung it on my wall with a hatchet above it. And that was the beginning of, well, I have a good rhythm in my lyric, in my poetry. Maybe I can make it work now that I have a guitar.
Mm-hmm.
And I just started writing right off the bat because I didn't know anybody's songs and didn't want to know anybody's songs. I just wanted to regurgitate what was in my head because I came from a dysfunctional family. And, you know, what my benefit was freedom. Get out of the house, right?
Sure.
Go somewhere. Get out of the chaos. So, and my sister, you know, did not like me really because, I mean, that's not unusual, right?
Well, yeah. On the surface, deep down, the connection was there.
Yeah, but we were so close in age, just 18 months, and her girlfriends were the prettiest things. And, you know, I wanted to flirt with them, and she didn't want any part of me. She said, don't speak to me in the hall. If you do, I'll swear I don't know you.
Wow. Yeah, I guess that's how kids are, though.
Dang, Jim,
I remember.
I had 2 older sisters. Yeah. I'm relating so much to this.
Yeah, okay. Well, good for you, Billy.
Okay. Continue onward and upward. Yes.
Years. Oh my God.
Yeah. Do I get to interview you about your sister someday?
Maybe so.
It's heading that direction here. All right.
Yeah. So I got started early on, and again, we recorded it in Odessa early on, and my first recording session was in Norman Petty Studios in Clovis, New Mexico.
Wow,
Norman
Buddy
Petty
Holly.
That's exactly right.
That's where Buddy Holly did his great stuff.
That's exactly right.
Wow.
Norman produced my first record called Walking the Dog. It was already out, but that's all I could sing.
Walking the Dog, yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Rufus Thomas, the same
Rufus Thomas.
Yeah.
Lee, how old are you, man?
I'm just brilliant here. That's all it is. I'm just brilliant.
Fess up,
no, I'm a music journalist and a writer, and I'm pretty obsessed. Jim, I'm just obsessed. I mean, I can't remember what I did yesterday, but I can remember, Norman Petty in Clovis, New Mexico.
So you're 60 plus.
There you go.
Okay, thank you.
There you go. We'll leave it at that.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll reveal my age later. Okay.
Oh, we're in suspense. Okay. All right.
To me, that's as miraculous as anything I've ever done is to reach this age.
Anyway, so your big break, though, I mean, I would think came when you moved to Nashville in 1975, and you met John Anderson. Or am I skipping ahead here?
Yeah. Right. We when we were in Los Angeles, we played the Aquarius Theater, and it was a round stage after hours. And on one side it'd be the Doors, and we'd be on the other side.
Okay.
The Doors would finish, and they'd roll us around the other side, and we'd do our thing. So that was good. And we played the Cheetah, which was on the Santa Monica Pier, and we opened for some big bands there. Very popular bands.
Drop some names. Come on, drop some names.
I wish I could remember it.
Dang. Okay.
I'll come back to it. The marble rolls around. Boom, it falls in. Okay. And then we did the Santa Monica Civic Center, played there, where Bill Cosby, the Croft Puppets, Nitty Gritty Dirt Band.
Oh, those are buddies of mine. I know the Dirt Band. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Really?
I do. Well, John McEwen, who was in the band, and I know Jimmy Fadden. Yeah, I know a few of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Jeff Hanna,
of course. Yes.
Yeah.
Jeff especially now. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's the first time I met Jeff, and that's the first time he met J.D. Souther also.
Okay.
So, and we had Gary Nicholson's 50th wedding anniversary, and he was there, and we got to chat about that. So anyway, now, so I had a lot of time on stage and a lot of stuff that I loved doing at that point. I was not really that much of a writer then. I wrote in between whatever else was being written, but I was not the primary writer. But Johnny Stark, the drummer, and I wrote a bunch of stuff.
All right.
And then that's when I started getting more cuts, as when we became Armageddon. And them, without Van Morrison, we were called Them in Reality.
They did an album or two after he left the band.
That's right.
Them. Were you involved in those albums?
Yes, it was a trio. Alan Henderson was the original bass player.
Okay.
I was involved in the second one after he left. Okay. All right. So anyway, and then I said, man, I'm going north. I've got to quit this because I only know my chords. I know my singing part, my harmony, a few lead lines, but I don't know an entire song. So I said, okay, I'm going to, because if somebody said, Jim, play Sunshine of Your Love. Well, I didn't know all that song, you know. I didn't know all of any of the songs.
Oh, it's a basic ding, 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 ding,
yeah. I could play all that.
Okay.
But that was just my parts, you know. So I said, okay, I'm going to be a singer-songwriter. And I went north after my divorce. And, meanwhile, I married the woman that wanted to make love to all my bandmates, which was a mistake. So, that's when I started questioning my judgment.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't mean to laugh.
You should laugh heartily.
Yeah. Can we take just a half a step backwards here? Because I'm again looking at your resume. You worked with Sonny and Cher.
Yes, I did some studio work. I did some rhythm guitar work and some background vocal work with Cher.
Background vocal work for Sonny and Cher. That's pretty impressive there.
Well, we were in the studio and she was doing vocals, and she says, "Is there anybody out there sing tenor?" And I said, "Yeah." She said, "Well, can you come out here and sing some parts?" I said, "Sure, you can come out there and sing some parts."
Wow. And Sonny was there.
Fabulous guy. I loved them. They were great.
Okay. All right.
They were great, man. I went and got pizza for us and all kinds of stuff.
Well,
but he paid me scale, Lee. He paid me scale for the session, and then he gave me cash after the session.
Wow.
I must have looked really hungry.
Wow. That's
incredible.
That deserves a round of applause. Yeah.
Yeah, and my drummer, Johnny Stark, who was the one that enabled me to get that gig, went on to play with them, on the road. He was an incredible drummer, still a great drummer.
Wow.
Johnny Stark.
Okay.
Johnny Joe Stark.
Johnny Joe. Mm-hmm. It's expanding here. Johnny Joe, Billy Joe Stark. We could.
Yeah. So I left my 47.
Yeah.
I left my 47 Ford with a 52 Hemi in it in his dad's garage, and his dad junked it.
What?
Okay.
Junked it.
My 47 Ford that I put a 52
I thought you said he jumped it. Jumped it.
Junk. J-U-N-K.
Oh, that's sad now. Okay.
My 47 Ford, my first car that I paid $100 for, and I put a 52 Chrysler in it. Put it in his dad's garage. Well, we were gone 3 years. I mean, what the heck? I'd have paid storage.
Yeah, I'd have given you warning. I was going to junk it.
Dang,
yeah.
Man.
So anyway,
I bet he sold it. Oh.
Well, he may have, but I didn't.
It's a collector's item now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's my sad story. So I'll move on from that.
All right. Okay.
All right. So I go north, right, and I go to San Francisco to a folk club up there, and go in, and I probably ordered a glass of wine and sit down, and here is John Prine.
Wow.
John sings Sam Stone.
Wow.
There's a hole in Daddy's arm where the money goes.
Yeah. Yeah. What a
son,
song. Yeah.
I was on the floor, man.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
I went, oh my gosh. And all he had was a cigarette, 2 fingers of whiskey, and a Martin guitar. I thought, well, that's
in that
cool.
order. Yeah. Oh, wow.
Man, and that was a day too. That was in Vietnam there. That was powerful back
then.
Yeah.
That stunned me.
Man.
So from that point forward, and I was terrible, man. I knew I had to go somewhere where they didn't know who I was to practice. So I started playing all the clubs around San Mateo and San Jose, and that's when I met Juice Newton.
You know what? I used to work for Capitol Records. I'm going to drop a name here. I used to work for Capitol Records, and we worked Angel of the Morning, and then we were in a cover battle with the Bonnie Tyler song. It's a Heartbreak. We put out, Juice did it, and we got some airplay. I was a promotion guy, and we got some airplay, but okay. I mean, this is a drop name extravaganza here, Jim Parker. A drop name.
Lee, you're closer to 70. Don't BS me, brother.
I'm just so knocked out here.
I'll sell him out for money.
Yeah, I'm just knocked out.
What they owe.
Okay.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
I love it, though. I love it.
We were doing the grog and sirloin circuit up there around San Jose, and if she'd overbook or got sick or whatever, she'd call me. And she and Otha,
yes.
They had a group called Sweet Jubal before. Yes. Yeah, and I produced them at Tiki Sound in San Jose before they went to L.A. and signed with Bones Howe.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah. So, again, some great times, man. I really enjoyed it.
I'm loving this. Great. This is a veritable history of popular music back in the day. I love this.
Man.
I'm just getting started.
Man.
I bet. But I mean, you've dropped enough names to make a major hole in the floor here. This is
okay. Sarah
has a question.
Sarah, she's listening. She don't have her headphones, so she can't. She don't know what's going on. But anyway, she'll listen to the podcast.
She's one of our fans.
We were talking about this because we've talked about this several times since Jim was here. Last time he was here hanging out with us, and you told us a story, and you mentioned L.A. and all that, and I guess remember you said about one of the Manson gang picked you up.
Yes.
You thumbing a rod, as they call it back then.
Squeaky Frome. Yeah. Were you picked up by Squeaky Frome?
No, I picked up Tex Watson.
Really?
Oh man, he's a big name
in Laurel Canyon.
He's a big name as far as.
Oh, he's a crazy one, isn't he?
Yeah, as far as monsters are concerned, he's
he
right
was a
up
killer.
there.
Holy cow!
All right,
man.
let me go back and do that. Wife number 2 that wanted to love all my bandmates and I were in her mom's Cadillac, and we were going through Laurel Canyon. There was a guy hitchhiking with a pair of jeans over his arm and with his thumb out. So we decided we'd pick this long-haired dude up because we were long-haired dudes and chicks. And he said, "Hey, would you take me to the Spawn Ranch?" I said, "Well, where is that?" He said,
"Oh,
I'll take you there." I said, "Okay."
Holy cow!
That definitely deserves scary.
Yeah.
So so we ended up bonding because we were from Texas, right? So I gave him my ankh, and he gave me his jeans. And we drove to the ranch, and he
jeans.
And he said
he gave you the jeans,
pants. You mean your jeans?
He had some jeans, and I gave him my ankh.
Your what?
Ankh. It's a fertility symbol.
We're so young. We don't know what that is.
Yeah. We can't keep up with you elders, Jim Parker. We don't know what that is.
I know what it is now. I know what it is. I did have one actually.
Google it.
Really?
Yeah, I know what I actually had one.
Yeah, Google it. Okay. So we exchanged pleasantries and gifts, and then went to the ranch where we got out, and he introduced us. He walked the set and introduced us to all of the hippies that huddled in the corners, probably on acid.
Yeah.
But very paranoid. And then we got back in the Cadillac and hauled on.
Was
And
Manson there? Was Manson there?
I don't know if he was there or not, because
we didn't know.
It wasn't significant to me at that point. He may have introduced us to him, but I didn't know who Manson was.
All right.
You know, and so, and a few months later, you know, here's the LaBianca murders.
Yeah.
And,
oh my God. Oh
yeah,
my God.
and Jay Sebring.
Yes.
Jay Sebring.
He was. Yes.
He cut our hair. He cut our hair when we first got to L.A. in 1966.
Famous hairdresser who was one of the victims.
Yes.
Yeah.
Jay Sebring. Yeah.
Holy cow.
Yeah. See, there's so much in the, in the stream. It's hard to catch it all, man.
Dang,
Sorry.
No, we're catching it here. This is fascinating.
Thanks for bringing me back to that, Bill.
Yeah, really. Yeah, thanks for elevating the mood here, Billy. And
hey, one more thing. I want to back up just one more time. Laurel Canyon. I was watching. That documentary was incredible.
Yes.
I guess you guys all saw it, but man, that was the coolest time. I thought, man, that's so cool. And then I thought about the Manson gang. I thought, well, maybe it's not cool, but it was cool except for that part. You know?
Yeah, bad vibes
You
there.
know, the coolest part was I survived that thing. You know, they could have murdered us and kept the Cadillac, but we got out of there.
Did you know the folks that were living in Laurel Canyon at the time? The Mamas and the Papas and Crosby, Stills, Nash, Joni Mitchell, some of those folks. That was a big scene. It's a big scene.
No.
Okay.
No.
It's a big canyon.
No, I was married and working.
Oh.
You're mainly working. Okay. All right.
Married working.
So, okay.
All right.
All right. So let's go back up north. All right. So, Juice. Yeah, I'm really glad you had an encounter with Juice.
Yeah. I can call her Juice too. Otherwise I'd be saying Ms. Newton. So I can call her Juice.
She's a very unique character, was she not?
Yes. I got to work
her
one of her shows.
Her personality was very unique.
Yes, you're right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, good. Okay. Yeah. So that just proves I know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, no, you do, obviously. Yeah.
And Otha, I loved Otha.
Otha Young, was that his last name? Otha.
Yeah, right.
God, how do I remember these things? Oh my God, I can't remember driving over to Billy's house this afternoon, and I remember that stuff. This is fascinating.
Whoa.
Well, it's long-term memory.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, something. At least there's some memory.
I think the short term goes first, but
maybe.
Okay. All right. Now, there's a lot, guys, and I don't want to steal your whole time here. I want to move on
today. You're the show today.
Yeah,
I got to practice it really well.
Yes.
And got my chops together, and this band out of Amarillo, Texas, my hometown, who knew me and knew that I had left and gone here and there and been following me, asked me to come back to Texas. And actually, I moved back into Clovis, New Mexico, because that's where they were housed, because they were being produced by Norman Petty. And so I moved to Clovis to go on the road with them to open for them. Okay. And they were opening for REO, Aerosmith, Black Oak, Exile, and a bunch of others.
Wow. All right. So we're in the 70s now. We're in the midst of REO Speedwagon. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I had opportunities to play those shows.
Cool.
So, and we had Baby was a business within itself. We were already out there doing our own shows, and we could pull 10,000 people on a holiday. KOMA, 100,000 watt station in the breadbasket.
Yep. Oklahoma.
Yeah. That's exactly right, Lee. You are the man.
Well, again, I was in the promotion business, and I remember all these call letters because we would use them to encourage our radio stations to play a record. We'll say KOMA is on it, KFRC, whatever.
That's right.
And that was ammunition. Right. Yeah.
Man, I wish it was still that easy,
No, it's...
Yeah. That's another story.
I'm sure there are several. Yeah. Yeah.
So we were traveling around playing all these gigs, and I guess we were about 2 years into it. And we were playing the Electric Ballroom in Dallas, Texas.
Where I was raised in Dallas. I was raised in Dallas. Okay.
Dang, probably saw you playing.
I think we're brothers from another mother here, me and Jim Park.
Very possible we were waltzing around each other at one time.
I bet. Well, yeah. I'm old enough to be your cousin.
Yeah, I hear that. I didn't tell you about my trip to New York, but that's okay.
This is going to be a multi-part series here on Backstage Pass. So,
all right, take a note on New York. That was interesting. But, more shameless name dropping. But,
I love it.
So they got a New York manager, and he came in and pointed up at me and said, "Who's the folkie?"
Who's the folkie?
Who's the folkie at the Electric Ballroom, right? Playing for opening for a rock and roll band with acoustic guitar.
Oh, I see.
Who's the folkie?
So what was the band that you were in at that time?
I wasn't. I'm a soloist.
You were okay. All right. Just wanted to clarify.
I've been a soloist since the 70s.
All right. Just wanted to clarify that. Okay.
Yeah. Since the early 70s.
Okay.
Yeah. And, because again, it's ego, I just got tired of, I just said, well, I'm not star quality, but I can write songs.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to write songs and do the best I can. And John Prine is not star quality, but he is a legend. But he is a star because of his songs, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So he is star quality. That's because he was a great songwriter.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought, okay, I got to buckle down. So I learned how to write songs. And when they said, "Who's the folkie?" I went to Nashville. And I was playing way too many chords for Nashville, man. I mean, I was playing all kinds of orchestrational chords. And writing all kinds of cool, progressions. And so I had to back up and start 1 4 5 1 4 5 1 4 5. So that's the Nashville.
All right, and
system.
You met John Anderson.
Well, here's how I met John. I went to get a haircut. And Fred Metter says, "Do you know John Anderson?" I said, "No." He said, "Well, he's a songwriter too. You need to bring your guitar up here and meet John Anderson." So we went up there. I went up there, and I was living in a motel, and but there's more. Okay, so
we know what happens in motels. Okay,
I do. Yeah. But it wasn't. It's not the no-tell. I'll spread the word.
Yeah, all right, so, not the no-tell motel. Okay.
No. So I met John, and from that point forward, our chemistry was so good that we just started writing, and we wrote all the time, wrote, smoked dope, and fished. So
in that order or in reverse order?
Well, yeah, usually.
Depends on the day.
Depends on the day, because we did like to get up early and go fishing and then go.
Yeah. Everything.
Write some songs and smoke ourselves to sleep.
Okay.
So.
Understood.
But that was the day, and so I had 6 songs on his first Warner Brothers record.
Wow.
One of which was the ASCAP Award. It's called I've Got a Feeling, but they misprinted it, and it has I Have a Fecklin. Okay.
No, come on, seriously?
Yeah, I Have a Fecklin. Yeah.
What? A Fecklin?
We need to Google that one.
I've got a feeling somebody's stealing. See?
Okay.
I've got a fecklin, somebody's heckling in this case.
Now it makes sense. It makes sense.
Yeah. So he said, and the interesting thing was the guy that gave me the award a year earlier had slammed down the recorder and said, "That's not how you write a hit song, buddy. Here's how you write a hit song."
Oh boy!
And he played me the latest hit, and then a year later he's handing me "I've Got a Fecklin." And somebody says,
Still going to
well,
think about that one.
You need to have them change that. I said, oh, no, I wouldn't dare have them change that. And I went to BMI.
Okay. All right.
I'm still with BMI.
Okay. Really? Excellent.
Yeah.
You're still with BMI. Wait a minute.
Yeah.
You got an ASCAP award and you're with BMI. I don't understand.
Well, that makes me feel better with BMI.
Yeah. Well, it's easy because it's a people business and I'm a people person.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Screw me once. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
One time.
All right. Okay. All right. We're getting a little of your vengeful side here, Jim Parker.
Yes, I am.
Careful.
Yeah. That's my ego.
All right. Okay. Well, you got to protect yourself. That's okay.
That's my ego.
You got to protect yourself.
The guy's name was Merlin Littlefield, who, decided that I wasn't a hit writer.
If your name was Myrtle Littlefield, you'd probably have a lot of resentment too. Okay. He had a problem. Myrtle Littlefield.
Yeah, that tells you about his DNA, his family. Only
because his name's Myrtle.
His great grandpa. They never had nothing but a tiny field.
Like Merlin the magician.
Okay.
Yeah, Merlin.
Merlin. I thought you said Myrtle.
No, not yet.
Billy, can you edit that part out? Yeah, Billy can edit that part out.
That's my favorite part, so I'm not going to edit that out.
I thought you said Myrtle. Merlin. Okay.
No.
All right. Merlin. Okay. Yeah. All right. But still, if your name's Merlin, you're growing up and all the kids are saying, hey, Merlin, let's do a magic trick here. Come on. That would still be a problem.
Well, see, Lee, he's not always lived in Tennessee. And I can't understand him. I don't know if he's still learning the language, but
may he rest in peace.
Oh, come on. It's a connection here, Billy. It's a connection here. Yeah, that's all. All right. But still, the joke still works. Merlin. If your name is Merlin, you'd be a little bit, I
was talking about Littlefield. He was narrow.
Littlefield. The kids are going to joke about that one too, aren't they?
Well, that's true. His parents,
trying to extricate myself.
His great grandparents, through his lineages, people had a small vision. They only wanted a tiny field to grow food in, and then that's what I'm saying. That was my whole analogy.
Okay. All right. Well, okay. There's a joke in there somewhere.
Well,
it's a little scary when we let Billy take the mic here.
I'm not supposed to be over here.
I'm just kidding.
I got to go like 20 feet away and get back.
No, it's fine. It's fine.
You're okay, Bill.
Yeah, he is. Of course, he is.
We love you just the same, man.
We do.
Well, thank you. Before we get too far gone here, chicken. Did we even talk about Chicken Truck hardly? But that was you're pretty famous for that one, then.
But it wasn't in the first six. It was not in the first six.
You had to work your way up to that one.
I'm on my way.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. Well,
I'm on my way.
Tell us all about
it. The 6 songs that were cut in that session, there's Pete Drake on steel and, Buddy Harmon and,
all famous
these
players.
Great Rusty Young and all these
Poco.
Great players. Yeah. So, Chicken Truck, we were riding one day, 910 Douglas Avenue for all of you sightseers. This is where that was written. Go right ahead and knock on the door. I was living in the attic of a friend of mine who was running a drugstore. He was not that kind. A real drugstore, and it was a attic with wallpaper on the walls, but no heating and cooling. And so that's where I was living for free. And John and I would go up there and we'd ride in the summer or winter, whatever, and dress appropriately. But we were up there riding one day, and our friend Monroe Fields came walking up the steps. He's a 55-year-old bluegrass singer back in the day. He's deceased, of course, by now. And I know that for a fact. And he came up the steps singing Chicken Truck, Chicken Truck. And I said, behind it, I'm stuck. And after that,
wow,
within an hour and a half, we had Chicken Truck written.
Did you give him a credit for coming up with that?
Yes, sir.
I would hope so.
It's a 3-way split.
Wow. Okay. Excellent.
Yeah.
Oh, that's That's funny.
3-way split.
That's one of those kind of songs, that that just sticks in your head. I don't know why.
Mm-hmm.
Chicken. Of course, it's going to stick in your head. Chicken.
You know what sticks in my head more than anything else? When Sarah and I, we'd only been married a year or something. We were living in. It's been like 38 years ago or something. We were living in Athens, Georgia, and anyway, I got first time we had this little cool 280Z T-top, cruising down the road and behind this chicken truck and all these feathers blowing out and those. I couldn't tell those chickens were dead alive. But anyway, long story. But a few days later, I got this thing called cryptococcal pneumonia, and I went to the doctor, and it was like pneumonia,
wow.
and it was it about killed me, but I'm fine. I recovered. Of course, I was in my 20s. But so if you ever get behind a chicken truck, roll your windows up because they said whatever what they used to call it the bird disease or something, and it's where it's like a Anyway. So I got they asked me. They said, when as a doctor, they said, "This is very rare. Do you work at a chicken farm?" And I said, "Oh,
wow."
I remember that chicken truck.
Wow, that's interesting.
Wow, that's what he thinks of with the song.
No, I love the song, but I picture when I listen to it, I visualize that I'm in a sealed container with my windows up.
Okay.
Well, every time I play that song, the singer that follows me says, "I don't know how to follow that." And I always say, "Well, don't get too close." Okay.
There you go. There you go. Now
Billy told me to tell you that.
now you run a series at the Von Braun Center, the Von Braun Center Playhouse in Huntsville, Alabama. Von Braun, Willie Von Braun, right? Willie.
It's Werner.
What?
Werner.
I thought I would impress you again. I thought that people in the audience are going to go, "Wow!"
It's
and
Werner
I said, "Willie." Wasn't there
Werner,
a Willie Von Braun though? No,
really? It's Werner Von Braun.
I knew that. I knew that. It's been a long day here, Jim.
It's a Von Braun
day. Yeah,
there's too many Willies in the music writing business.
All right, I'm sorry. I blew it. I blew it.
That's okay. Well, I'm getting there. I'm not there yet, but I'm getting there.
Okay.
I got my real estate license in 1979. My wife thought it would be cool for me to know something besides E, A, and B seventh. So
there you go.
So I got my real estate license, but I'd written with a lot of people there in Nashville before I left. I'd been on the road with David Sugar. The doors always open, Golden Tears, Queen of the Silver Dollar, blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So we played a lot of great places and just had a lot of fun, but I just got tired of the road. And I might mention that I was dating people on the Weather Girl on Hee Haw at the time I met my wife.
Wow.
Dang.
I wrote about Hee Haw one time. Yeah.
Lisa, the Weather Girl?
Well, I just, I knew some of, I was writing about them.
I was, at that age, I just fell in love with her, I think.
I hung with the Hagers too.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Now, I remember them. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Shameless name dropping.
That's fine. We love it.
Yeah.
That's what brings us listeners here, Jim Parker. Come on. It's all about the marquee names. Come on. Like any area of showbiz, man. We need the marquee names.
I just remember that's the first Weather Girl I ever fell in love with, by the way.
She was something else.
Yeah.
But I won't get into our dates. Okay?
Yeah, boy. I hope it wasn't another open house.
No, it wasn't. No,
Thank you, brother.
Oh, we forgot to tell you we got a live audience here. So
yeah, we do.
I hope it's a mature audience.
Yeah, we could.
Well, we're not mature. How can we expect them to be?
Well, that's true too.
Yeah.
So, Marquis, my name is Jim with a J, Jim Parker. Okay.
Okay.
That's Marquis. I wanted to remember that, but Jim with a J.
Well, how else would it be? G-Y-M. Okay.
Oh.
I walked into that one, didn't I?
G-E-M. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right.
Well,
it's the English language that's the problem.
Yeah, it is. I admit it.
I did want to throw this in too, Jim. Let's say Sarah and I, you introduced us to Billy Droz, or we connected somehow.
Oh yeah,
several years ago, and we just love Billy Droz and his family. He's like a little brother or something to me. I don't know. I don't connect with everybody. We have a lot of friends come through. But
sweet.
Anyway.
I'm weeping profusely at the moment. Well, you can't see me, but I'm weeping.
You're the same level, Lee. You're
okay.
You're my older brother.
Oh, come on, Bill. That's hurtful.
Okay, sorry.
I have a Billy Droz story.
Well, yeah. I know you guys been working. You worked together for a while, co-writing.
15 years.
Well, that's pretty.
I didn't know it was that long now.
But it's how we got started that was interesting. His sister was a realtor. She passed.
Oh, yeah, I heard
and she said, "Hey, Jim, my brother's going to Nashville. I'm taking my brother to Nashville, and he's writing a lot of great songs, and I think you should write with him." And I said, "Well, I'm not sure, Linda, that I'm ready right now. He's kind of young and blah, blah, blah." So 2 years later, Billy calls me and says, "Hey, I want to write with you, man. We got to write." I said, "Okay." He came over and we wrote a great song. And so the chemistry that I had with John Anderson is very similar to the chemistry I have with Billy. And that's why we've had number one.
Mm-hmm.
And we're writing together regularly. And I have a whole album of the songs we co-wrote. He cut. It's just not released. So,
that's cool.
Yeah.
Well,
so anyway, that's the Billy Droz part of the thing. Now, when I moved to Huntsville, actually Madison, Alabama, which is 10 miles out of Huntsville, with a little boutique community, 6,000 people. There's 100 something now. I decided, well, I've got to buckle down because I started my own real estate company. And within 18 months, I was standing in front of my wife, weeping like a child.
Just like I was a minute ago.
Yeah. I said, I cannot do this just for this. This is not what I'm about. I have, in my opinion, friends, I have a genetic disorder, and it's terminal, and it's called creativity. And if you deny it, you get sick. And the only medicine for this disease is more of it. So I told her, I said, I've just got to get back at it. I'm going to start my singer-songwriter thing again. And she said, "Oh, I hope it doesn't. You're not disappointed." I'm like, "What? I can do this. I've done it before." And she says, "You're the boss. Take the time, do what you need to do." So I did. And that's the way that has transpired. And I started doing workshops. I put an ad in the paper and got one songwriter, and then 3 songwriters, and pretty soon I had 30 songwriters. And we were doing workshops and educational, I was tutoring a lot of people. And then I got tired of that, but I'd started playing open mics and started my own open mic in a Mexican restaurant. And from there, I moved on to another really type A, really nice, classy restaurant called Sister Gooch.
Oh, that sounds classy. What do they serve? I hate to ask what's on the menu.
Well, it was really upscale stuff, really. Yeah.
Oh, all right. Okay.
I mean, fish and steaks.
It just sounded like there's a punchline coming.
Yeah. No. It was really nice. Yeah.
Okay.
But the owner and the chef divorced, so
there is a punchline in there.
Yeah, there you go.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, so I had to move on, and I went to Lake Ida in Athens, nice little L-shaped building around the lake. Did it there, but that's when I started bringing my buddies in. Karen Staley and Gary Nicholson and John Randall, and all those kind of people.
Yeah.
Okay. That was back then, and they're getting even more powerful. Tony Arata and Pat Alger and on and on. So
I know all the. I'm not acknowledging them one by one, but I know everybody you're talking about here. I don't know them personally, but I know of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you can go on my site, JimParkerMusic.com. I repeat, JimParkerMusic.com.
Okay, all right.
It's just easy to spell, right? You can't get Jim.
You really can't misspell Jim Parker. This is a definite advantage.
I like that.
Yeah,
that's true. Yeah. Well, okay. Can I go back and tell you when I was in the Midwest and we were on KOMA and all those. And I was traveling with Baby. My name was Irvin James, Ervan.
Why would you change your name from Jim Parker to Irwin James?
Irvin.
Irvin. Okay, again, I get it wrong.
It's his middle name.
That's even worse. Oh, God, if we have anybody named Irvin. It's a wonderful
Jim,
name. I see why you did it. Sorry.
I think that's your middle name, Jim.
It is my real name.
No, look at Lee over here. He's already.
Should I just sign off now?
Hang on,
I just insulted his
Let me pull that foot out of his mouth.
No,
Hang on.
come on.
I'm sorry.
Come on.
I'm sorry. Faux pas.
It is not. There's a method to your madness.
I would hope so.
You're so normal. That's what gets me. Okay.
Oh yeah.
So here's the deal.
No, I'm normal.
Here's the deal. So KOMA, people could not spell Irvin to beat the band. I'm telling you, it was amazing. And the reason I changed my name was because there were two other Jim Parkers out there doing the same thing.
Okay. All right. I get
Jim
it now.
Parker.
Yeah.
I'm a commoner, man. I'm just a commoner. That's all there is to it.
Yeah.
There's Jim Parkers all over the place.
Well, it's a good name. That's why people like it. They grab it because it's a good name.
Actually, I saw that today. I Googled your name because I was wanting to send Lee your wonderfulness, and there's about 15 came up.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
It's probably an actor named Jim Parker or something out there, too.
Well, there's football players and all kinds of people. So here's the deal. They would misprint my name constantly.
You got a problem with those misprints, don't you?
Mispronounce my name constantly. Evan, Evan, Ewan, Irving, Irwin.
Oh, boy.
And even one, it was spelled, I guess, Eurin, and KOMA says, and guest appearing with Baby is Urine James.
What?
With a U?
What?
No, with a U. What? Not with a U, was it?
It was a V, but they thought it was a U. EUR, Urine James. Urine James, KOMA.
That's great. Okay.
Man, you got...
So I was going to do an album. You got a
problem with misprints and mispronunciations there, son.
So I was going to do an album called Spell It Like It Is and put all those misprints.
Perfect. That's genius. Nobody's thought of that before. That's genius.
It is. It really is.
All right.
All right. We're back in Huntsville, Alabama. Okay. We do digress. We're back in Huntsville, Alabama, and I'm doing open mics at different places, Beef O'Brady's and what have you. And I put them all out of business, by the way. So,
congratulations.
Okay, and so I'm back in Nashville at the Bluebird playing a show, and I happen to mention on mic that I'm in between facilities there in Huntsville, Alabama, and I'm looking for a home. And the COO of the city facilities, Von Braun Center, said, hey, why don't you come talk to me when you get back to town? I'd like to talk to you about bringing your show to the BBC. And that was 18 years ago. Next year it'll be 19. So so that's how I got there.
Did he ever explain to you why it was named after Werner von Braun, who was the father of rocket science, I think? No?
Yeah,
silence Werner, on the other end here. I've taken you aback. I've taken you aback.
No. Werner von Braun was the father of rocketry.
That's what I just said.
Yeah.
Okay.
He was a German scientist
Yes.
that came over here.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. But it's von Braun. Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm with
Because
you.
people all the time are going, oh, they're mispronouncing it because it's spelled Braun.
Again, with the mispronunciations, we're having a real. That's become a theme of this conversation.
It has, Lee.
Yes, it really has.
Okay. Can we move on?
I'm sorry.
Without any hostility?
There's no hostility. I feel like obliged to throw in a witticism every now and then.
He's having a bromance with you right now. That's what's happening.
I don't know. I just feel obligated to, keep up the mood, the merriment.
The mood.
Yes.
Hey, well, we're bonding.
We are,
bonding, man.
and all the listeners are witnesses to that bond.
Yeah, we have the same warped sense of humor, and it's just a beautiful.
I love it, of course. And they're going to just have to deal with it.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay.
Yeah, so selling real estate, writing songs, and I had an interview today that people want me to get involved in some kind of promotional thing, and I'm
really.
Yes, and I mentioned my poetry to you, and I've always written poetry, and I have a friend named Don Howard, who is an ex-Disney artist who has
very cool
proposed illustrating my poems for a coffee table book, and he's got to publish it.
I'll tell you, though, Jim, I'm going to give you a fair warning. I've written 2 books, no money in it. No money in it. Just telling you. I almost did a Ronald Reagan impression. No money in it, Jim Parker. Mommy says she took all the money. Sorry, I'm sorry.
There's no money in music either, buddy. I told you my business plan is upside down.
Yeah. All right.
No, but here's what we have. We have legacy. We have documentation. We have our talent documented, and and my ego isn't requiring me to leave something behind that didn't exist before, but I'm leaving quite a trail of that. So I'm very pleased.
That's part of ego. That's the positive side of ego.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I just got a Mark O'Connor cut. Who Mark O'Connor?
Jim Parker. I've met Mark O'Connor, interviewed him, and we bonded. Not like you and I are bonding, but I have had personal up-close encounters with. He's a wonderful individual.
Have you met his wife, Maggie?
I'm not sure.
Well,
I'm not sure.
Here's the thing. When he came to Nashville.
I think I did.
When he came to Nashville in the 80s, I befriended him.
Okay.
And I helped him get his album reviewed, and he was doing probably 3 or 4 demo sessions a month, just after he got there.
Mm-hmm.
And I introduced him to a product that I was marketing called All Food Tabs.
Okay.
And
he
signed on.
Okay.
Yeah. He signed on because he needed a little extra cash, and it was a good way to do it. He was selling it to producers and artists and whatever. And Jim Ed Norman was one of his clients.
Sure, the producer. Okay? Yep.
That's right. And Jim Ed, you're the man.
This connection is unbelievable. It really is. Did you notice how my voice just went up? It's unbelievable. I'm so impressed.
And Gary Nicholson, who's been a friend of mine for 40 years, was brought into town by Jim Ed Norman, and that's when I met Gary early on. And Gary and I have a long history too.
Was that the Lost Gonzo band? Was he the same guy?
Gary Nicholson?
Yeah.
No.
All right.
No.
I messed it up again.
That's all right.
All right. So let me fly for a couple of these. Okay.
Anyway, so I helped him get started, and just after I been at the session with John and Billy Droz, John Anderson, Billy Droz, recutting Chicken Truck Bluegrass. I had just come home from Nashville, and Mark messaged me and said, "Would you come to Nashville and meet me tomorrow? I'd like to talk to you." And I said, "What about?" And he said, "You're in my autobiography."
Wow.
And I said, "Why? Why?"
Don't question.
And he said, "Because you helped me get started."
Wow.
And what happened was Jim Ed's secretary would call him for demo sessions. And then he called for all food tabs. And then he called one time and said, "This is not for all food tabs. I want you to do a master session with Michael Martin Murphey."
Met him.
And so
had lunch with him in Nashville once.
Yeah.
You're speechless when I say that, aren't you? I noticed this pause there.
No. Well,
all right.
His guitar player on Wildfire is Sam Broussard.
Okay.
And who's an old friend.
Okay.
And the drummer is also an old friend I've known for years, Harry Wilkinson. And I mean, it's a very small world when you live long enough, Lee.
Gary Wilkinson, I've heard of him, right? Yeah, no?
No, Harry.
Okay. I'm blowing. I should shut up.
Wait a minute. You said Nicholson?
No, that's okay.
That's okay. Gary Nicholson.
Yeah.
Or Gary Wilkinson.
Gary
Nicholson. You know,
okay.
from that.
All right.
Yeah, he's
sounds like familiarity.
I think you know him.
Well,
okay.
You will once you see what he's been writing with Delbert McClinton for years.
Met him, interviewed him.
Yeah.
Delbert. Yeah.
I'm just saying. Yes, I have. Yes.
Okay.
All right.
Gary Nicholson. And so, where was I?
I don't know. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
Okay.
I'm so tempted when you mention a name that I know to interject. I apologize for that.
I know where we are. We're at we were talking about
Gary Nicholson.
Mark O'Connor.
Okay. Yes, Mark O'Connor. Yeah, yes, Mark O'Connor and the O'Connor family, right?
Yes.
Yes.
And so I go meet with him in Nashville as he requested, of course. And so he and his wife, Maggie, are doing fiddle duets all over the country now. And they started singing a song, and he sang. I said, "Man, I had no idea you sang." He said, "Yeah, Maggie and I are, we're doing some songwriting and whatever." And I said, "Well, do you need some words?"
Perfect.
He said, "Yeah." So I sent him 3 sets of lyrics, and he selected one, and sent back a request for a couple of other verses, and I sent him 4, and he used all of them. So now the song is 5 minutes long. So, but it's all right. It's Mark O'Connor, and he did a video. It's called "Spice of Life," and it's on YouTube. And he sang it on NPR recently in California, and it's also videotaped on NPR. And that song is really, really unique and really nice.
Check it out.
And you need to check it out. And after they did that on that station in California, they sent it out to their sister stations, and they played it. So I should have some kind of payday anyway.
Well, I mean, that's how it used to happen. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Wow. And then, Billy and I we wrote 2 songs for Ralph Stanley's son, and one for his wife, and another one for another bluegrass lady, and another one for Ben James. So, I'm really, really enjoying this myself. And I wrote one with Gary Nichols.
Okay.
That's Gary Nichols.
Yeah, Gary and Billy was just, Billy and Gary have been, they've been doing some stuff together this year, and they were one of the only the second show this year. We did a consecutive nights because his shows they sold out in like 5 minutes, at the station. So we had to, I had to add a second one. So yeah, those two guys and Billy Drodes, like I said, we
incredible.
We may be a little partial to him, but when the world discovers Billy Drodes, and of course Gary's incredible too. But I'm just saying, I think it's just going to be, going to be, he's going to be a rock star.
Yeah. Well, Gary Nichols took Chris Stapleton's place in the Steel Drivers.
Yes. Okay. Oh, I knew the name. Yeah. I knew the name.
Yeah. Yeah. And he's really good. Yeah. Those guys, they're both.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Well, he had some drug problems and had to drop out of the band.
Yeah.
And then went to rehab, got sober. He's back and he's clean and he's killing it, man.
Thank goodness he recognized.
He's got a great story. Yeah. He's great.
Yeah. And we just wrote one called oh my gosh.
It's all right. It's still new. It's still new.
Yeah.
You're okay.
It's hard to remember the titles sometimes.
There's so many.
Well, it's a great song, man. It's really a great song, and he and Billy just kill it.
Oh,
so,
man.
I'm just so. It's called "Only Taking Me."
Okay.
Only Taking Me.
Is that one out yet?
No, they're still working on the production.
Oh, yeah, mastering or whatever.
Yeah, but they're doing a duet album. So I've got some on that, and I'm fortunate, y'all. I'm telling you, in all seriousness, no joke.
Well, it's been just great, wonderful talking with you, Jim, and hearing all the amazing stories and history that you share. I think we're going to have to do a follow-up here.
I think we will, because we didn't even get into I was telling Lee earlier that the songwriting class, and to be honest, I was just going to try to find my notes. I still have them. I've never through that. You hit at the station, you came in, and you know what? And that was fascinating because we had the people that come to the station shows. We have a built-in audience from over the last 10 years, and that I've built up a email. But anyway, they're not musicians, but they want to learn how to write.
Yeah.
And so we had, and there's been people ask me about that actually since then. They said, is that guy Jim Parker coming back? Because even though they're not musicians, it's fascinating that there's a lot of people enjoy, they got something to say, and they want to get it on paper or whatever. And boy,
that's my joy. That's my joy, guys. Is I'm teaching a 61-year-old autistic gentleman now, and I don't teach anybody. He came to one of my songwriting events with Jim McBride, who wrote Chattahoochee and Neon Rainbow and a bunch of those. And he asked me if I would teach him some stuff about songwriting, guitar playing, and I just couldn't say no. He said, I'm slow, but once I get it, I've got it. So cool. I said, well, sure. Yeah.
Perfect.
That's awesome.
Anyway, that's the joy, is to pass on what little information you have, to somebody.
Yeah, and that's what I want to do. I like for us to maybe do part 2. We'll publish this one, maybe leave it publish this one. Then if you don't mind, I know the pay's not real good, Jim, but we'll promote the heck out of you.
The pay's not good. Now you tell me, Billy.
Oh, I'm talking about you.
Oh, okay.
I thought you worked for food.
Okay, yeah.
But anyways, but I got to say this about Jim Park. First time Jim was, I think, at the house here, I looked at him like a gunslinger. He comes in with 2 guitars, like really cool. I can't remember what brand they were. And he had them, I think he had them one tuned like a little different than the other. And he walks in, he has the blingy boots on or what. And man, you're like the coolest guy in the world. He walks in and, anyway, that's a whole nother story.
You gotta come up. You gotta come back, man. I gotta meet you in person.
Yeah, and
come on, we'll hang.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to.
You live around there, Lee?
Yeah, I live about half an hour from Billy. I live in Murrayville. You know Murrayville?
Oh,
he come up from.
No, I don't.
You don't know Murrayville?
Well, that's right. Yeah.
No, but it sounds a lot like Merlin.
Well, you know, Jim, Jim, it's in the same.
Oh, you don't forget to.
No, Jim's been at the station. Okay.
Yeah, okay. Well, I live literally 17 minutes from the station.
Same county as the station.
Yeah, same county.
Oh,
so,
cool.
so we've got to meet, and that's a threat, not a promise. I mean, that's a promise, not a threat. Dang,
Okay, that's
All
fine.
right.
I got it.
Okay.
So, okay, now it's like I'll tell you mine if you'll tell me yours. How old are you?
We'll talk off air. Come on, don't do that to me. We'll talk off air. I got an image cut hold.
And don't leave, Jim. By the way, remember,
Don't leave.
we got to do our outro here in a minute. But
okay,
there's something.
Bye-bye.
One more thing. I had one more question because I'm kind of like, what is that Saturday Night Live where you delay like about an hour before when you ask a question?
What?
I got it. I'm ready.
I was just thinking every time I'm on when I'm typing or something on my computer, every time I type y'alls, it tries to change my spelling.
Yes.
And you said you were in a band called did I hear it right? You said y'alls, like y'all.
Yes. YALLS.
YALLS. Well, where's the apostrophe at?
After the L's.
Yours was after the L's. Well, that's totally wrong from what spell check does every time I try to type it.
No, it is after the A.
Oh, okay.
There's a group here, and we'll give them a plug. They're called the Yuns. It's spelled Y apostrophe UNS, and I was saying Yuns. But maybe it is Yuns, but it's Yuns, something.
Yeah. Well, hey, man.
Like that. We're giving you a free plug, guys, if you're listening.
Well, good thing about us old. Oh, wait, I can't include myself. Thinking about older fellas like.
Come on.
Well, if you live long enough, you got a lot of stories. You got a lot of wisdom. I mean, you know what?
Thank you, Billy.
I feel sorry for the young people.
Are you referring to me or Jim? You're referring to Jim, aren't you?
Yes.
Okay.
But everybody, but me. Okay.
This is the longest sign off we've ever done.
Yeah, here we go.
Is that the sign off?
No. We got
We're professionals, Jim Parker. Come on. We're professional.
Okay.
Plus, I can edit. I can chop this thing up like mincemeat. It's fantasy. Okay.
I'll be quiet.
Okay. Stand by here.
Thanks for having me, guys.
It's been a pleasure, man.
Don't go nowhere.
Don't go anyway. We want to talk.
I gotta sell something here for Lee. Big thanks to Jim Parker and our host Lee Zimmerman. Check out Lee's new book. It's 30 Years Behind the Glass. It's about Jim Gaines, man. It's an incredible producer, and man, he's just anyway. And also be sure and like, share, subscribe to my Backstage Pass on your favorite platform. And we'll see y'all next time.